France is weird, especially in World of Tanks Blitz, because all of the lines make absolutely no sense. The tank destroyers are faster and have more armor than the heavy tanks. The mediums don't exist, and the light tanks are all autoloaders, and it's just weird in general how the French tech tree works, because you'd think the heavy tanks have armor and the tank destroyers don't because they're very quick, but it's actually the opposite. So, what is good about the Foch line? Well, first of all, the tier 10 has the auto-loading 155 gun. It used to have 640 alpha when it first got the autoloader, but sadly, that did change very, very quickly as Wargaming realized instantly that they made a grave mistake. The gun was way too overpowered, and they nerfed the gun's alpha, which was at 640 to 560. Quite a big nerf, and it made the vehicle quite a bit worse. And they also, I think, changed the dispersion, which, yeah, now I like calling the tank a sawed-off shotgun because you literally just shoot and hope that it hits the enemy. Even from maybe 50 meters away, you're still kind of hoping, if you're not aiming in, that that shell is going to hit. However, the tier 9 Foch is actually a better tank in my opinion. In fact, against tier 10s, this tank can honestly do better. There's a lot of reasons for that. If we take a look and compare it to the Foch, you'll notice that, sure, the Foch 155 has way more penetration and the average damage is better, but everything else is worse. First of all, it's got worse gun depression, it's got worse gun elevation, its gun arc is worse to the left and the right, which means in total, it's got 8 degrees worse, quite a bit worse. The Foch has also got worse dispersion by quite a bit. It's got worse damage per minute, and as well, it's got worse concealment. Yeah, the only thing that's better on the Foch 155 is the hit points, which can make a big difference in a tier 10 game when the tier 9 is playing against tier 10s. But other than that, you'd think that there's a lot of differences, but really no. The Foch has got a way better gun at 3,476 DPM, and honestly, if they just made this tank a tier 10, gave it a little bit more DPM, gave it a little bit more penetration, I think that it would be better than the current Foch 155 we're currently sitting at. And you may be wondering, well, is the armor better on the tier 10 Foch than the tier 9, and sadly, that's really not the case. This is the tier 9 Foch, and this is an AMX 5120 aiming at it. You can see that the upper plate is about 260-ish millimeters thick, and using full gun depression, it's about 304, which means even premium is going to struggle quite a bit, as you can see, to penetrate the Foch. Now, if we make our way to the tier 10 Foch, the Foch 155, you'll notice the armor is exactly the same, and in fact, because it's got 1 degree less of gun depression, it's actually a little bit weaker. So, there you go, again, 260 right on the upper plate. They're both pretty much the same on the frontal armor, which is kind of sad when you think about it. Like, that's it. That is the sides. Now, the side on this tank is 75 millimeters thick, and as well, we make our way to the tier 10 Foch 155, and guess what? It's 75. Yeah, really, really freaking weird. I don't actually understand it. This is just a flat-out better vehicle than the Foch 155 in a lot of examples. And it's one thing that I really don't understand, because why would you grind a tier 10 when the tier 9 is pretty much better than it in almost every single aspect? The only reason you would like the tier 10 is because of the autoloading gun. And because it's so incredibly accurate, it's actually bad. Did I say accurate or inaccurate? If I said accurate, I meant inaccurate. It's always I'm always missing my words and jumbling them up. But we'll be seeing what we can do in this game with the tier 9. I actually didn't realize I've never made a video on the tank, but today will be the first video on the tier 9, which is surprising to me because I feel like I should have been making videos on this tank a while back. Oh god, here goes the team. No, I'm sorry, E5, but I'm going to ignore you. Oh no, I guess the whole team wants to go this way. The only player that's Blitz teams, everybody. Blitz teams. They have an E100 and an ST1, which you'd think would go heavy route, and judging that nobody's been spotted on the other side, they have gone heavy route. So that's just great. Alrighty then. I'm going to use that good mobility this tank was given. Thankfully, nice things are is that when your tank has good mobility, you don't really have to worry too much about your team kind of screwing you and leaving you in the back to die, which is something that does happen quite a little bit too often in most vehicles I'm used to playing. Come on. That would have been so awesome if that had hit, but no, sadly it did not. Let's aim it on this T-54. He's obviously going to have to climb the rails, and because of that, we're going to miss our shot. Look at the skills I have. The mighty skills are unbeatable. We got the 54 off to the side. We've also got, like, the Leopard over here. I can't really get shots into these guys currently. And there's my skilled ST1 doing skilled things. When I mean that, I mean dying. Skill, yes. It is very hard to achieve, apparently, through the higher tiers in Blitz. But let's see. So we got the FE-Tune 5B183 over there. We got the T-54 off to the side. I got to be careful, of course, because with the enemy team off over here, they are very, very deadly. Vehicles like that E-100, yeah, obviously I don't want to trade shells with them. So I'm going to try and back up here. But sadly, I just got hit by one tank, and because, oh, I was about to say, because my my upper plate is actually angled down, I'm probably a way easier pen for that E-100, but I guess that's not 100% the case, as he did end up bouncing me. And because I've got such a ridiculous amount of DPM here, I'm not actually worried about him even reloading quickly. I'm just going to fire at him again, maybe even pen a third shell. No, that one's not going to pen. But thankfully, I've got very good frontal armor, which means I should be able to wedge this tank up like this, get, well, I was going to say bounce, but obviously, that E-100's not the most skilled of players. This ST-1, though, that guy's probably going to be able to overmatch my frontal armor if he plays correctly. I want to try and shove a shell right into the ST-1's lower plate, so that's exactly what I'm going to do right there. Nice tap for 381, and I can even put on my adrenaline here, and, well, I'm going to push in. The enemy team's already pretty much dead, so might as well push in. There's the enemy object 268. He might pen me or bounce. You know what? I'll take it. He bounced me right on the upper plate, too. That makes no sense, but, you know what? I cannot complain. As you can see, this thing does have very, very good armor. There's one downside to this vehicle, and that is the penetration. It's very, very poor. You need, obviously, good pen to work a vehicle like this, and because it's so poor, it really does struggle in certain aspects. But again, like, you can just see how quickly this thing racks up damage. We're sitting at 2,942 damage this game, and even though I didn't break the 3K barrier all too much, we still did pretty good. And that's kind of how the Foch plays. It's just the gun's great. The armor, while the enemy team sure was rarted, we still did a pretty decent job. And because of that, did a pretty solid game for the first one in the Foch. So, yeah, let's do one more, see if we can keep up that goodness. Sometimes the goodness falls very, very short. There are many games where vehicles can get behind you, and yeah, this thing does not have very strong side armor. As we saw, it's only about 75 millimeters thick. And, well, that means any 155 is going to pen your side, and it's going to rock your world. Same for the rear. It's quite weak on those aspects. But frontally, this tank can get a lot of bounces. In fact, you saw there that a vehicle, in fact, the 268 managed to bounce me frontally, which is insane. And when you get in a better matchup against tier 8 vehicles, well, the Object 252 on the enemy team is sitting at around 20, maybe just about 2,000 DPM, in fact. I was going to say 2,100, but no. I'd say about 2,000 DPM. And what that means is I'm sitting at 1,500 more damage per minute than the Object 252, meaning that I out-reload it by literal seconds, which is incredible to that certain aspect. What have I done over there? Okay, so we're going to see what we can do here. And, oh my god, why are my teams so stupid sometimes? It's incredible to me how bad teams are in Blitz. Why would you go that? I'm the tier 9. There's 2 tier 9s on this team. Holy crap, I hate Blitz teams. Anybody, and I say this so many times, for anybody that watches my channel, if I see somebody that says 07 Droodles and then performs to go this side of the map, I will literally downvote you on purpose, just because I will spite you. There are very few people that do it, but I have had many 07 Droodles, and then they proceed to go this way. You cannot... I cannot explain to you how infuriating it is to have somebody watch my channel and yet not learn a thing while watching my channel. It's kind of sad to me, but it's fine, because we're going to see what we can do here. Granted, well, my team went the wrong way, and obviously the enemy team went the way that you should go. The issue with that is, because I've got slower tanks like the T95, who's AFK, which is actually somewhat good for us, because if he's going to be AFK, he'll keep the enemy team distracted and spawn. Like that, you know, he's going to keep them spotted, so that's good. Okay, there we go. We got a T-30 spotted. Now, the T-30 is a very, very deadly Tier 9 tank destroyer. Obviously, it's got a really, really strong gun, but because I played this correctly, and I used the tank the way it should be used, I was able to get a very, very nice bounce there. Now, there's the enemy Object 252, a very deadly tank as well, and actually, there's a lot of deadly tanks in the enemy team right there, so hopefully this T-30 is going to bounce me. That's the hope, and he did. Obviously, he was not the most skilled of players, so because of that, I was able to get a bounce, and, well, now let's go for the 252. There's another bounce. Again, you can see where the armor on this tank is very, very strong. It has the ability to get a lot of bounces. And because I've got such a higher DPM than the vehicle like the 252 here, I am literally just going to decimate this poor guy. Like, look at that. Look at the incredible DPM this vehicle holds. Hopefully that IS-5 is going to finish him off, which he did. And now I can just climb this hill. And again, I don't even worry about a tank like the IS-6. Even though that vehicle's got more hit points than me, like, the amount of DPM I carry is so much more than him, he doesn't even stand a chance. So what we're going to do is we're just going to push right on down, and let's go to Chinatown on him. So there's one nice pen, then we reload once again here, hopefully getting another nice pen on him. Boop! There you go, another nice tap, and you're dead. Then we've got the Kampfpanzer over here. Let's start reloading once again, and boop! Nice bounce. Again, you can see that frontal armor acting like a god, which it is. I would have to say that this frontal armor is actually insane, how good it is. And with that, we are on our way to just easy victories. There's the Charioteer off to the side. Let's get a nice snap into you. Boop! Nice tap in the booty for 426. And with that, we are just rolling in damage. We're sitting at 5,000 buckaroos of damage already. And that's not going to stop me, because I'm going to try and push onto this IS-3 now and see if we can get any more damage out. We also got that T-49 off to this back over there. Oh my god, the fact that that hit is actually incredible. But now I'm going to plop on my adrenaline here, and we're going to see if we can get some shots into the IS-3. There's a nice penetration, and because I have such a ridiculous amount of DPM, I actually out-reload vehicles like the IS-5, but because he was in front of me, couldn't really get the shot off. So this game in the Foch was a perfect example of what a battle against tier 8s can be like if it's played correctly. 5,914 damage. We absolutely smashed the competition. Almost nothing penned us, including tier 9 vehicles like the T-30, and well, yeah, that's the Foch for you. It just has such ridiculous factors going for it. The armor is fantastic. The DPM's great. And honestly, this is better than the tier 10 Foch. Wargaming, take some notes here. You absolutely screwed the tier 10 Foch 155. Give it either the original gun, which it used to have, of 640 Alpha with worse DPM, or even give it good DPM, or just get the auto-reloading gun more accurate, because it needs one of those two things, and currently, it doesn't have either, and because of that, it struggles so much in the tier 10 aspect, where this tank easily chugs along. So hopefully, all of you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below, but other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!